You are taking a handful of natural pills every morning to save your memory, but several of those capsules are likely creating microscopic holes in your cognitive function at this very moment. It is a terrifying realization for anyone over the age of 60 that the very industry promising to biohack your longevity is often the one quietly accelerating your mental decline. You spend your hard-earned money on beautiful, emerald green bottles labeled with words like pure, organic, and brain-boosting, trusting that because these substances come from the earth, they are inherently safer than the synthetic chemicals your doctor prescribes. But the supplement industry is a massive $60 billion global juggernaut that operates in a Wild West regulatory environment, often hiding behind outdated laws that allow them to sell you potent, biologically active compounds without ever proving they are safe for a senior's aging physiology. The hidden culprit behind your sudden bouts of confusion, your flickering memory, or that persistent heavy brain fog isn't just getting older. It is often a state of localized neurotoxicity or a dangerous nutrient imbalance caused by the very supplements you were told would protect you. The conventional health food establishment ignores these risks because their business model relies on you believing that more is always better, and that natural means harmless. But today, we are going to look under the hood of your supplement cabinet and examine 5 popular natural additions that might be secretly destroying your brain. By the time we finish our conversation, you will have the hard science and the actionable steps you need to prune your routine and truly shield your cognitive future. Before we dive into these specific biological traps together, I want to formally welcome you to our community. If you are tired of being treated like a marketing demographic and you want the unvarnished truth about senior health, please consider joining us by subscribing. We share the kind of deep dive, science-backed insights that usually stay buried in academic journals, and we do it because your health is far too important to be left to a sales pitch. Because we are a community that learns from each other, I would love to know who I am talking to today. Where are you watching from, and what is the one supplement you currently take that you've always been a little bit unsure about? Let's start a conversation in the comments below. Let us begin with a nutrient that sounds entirely virtuous, but has a dark hidden side when it enters the body of someone over 60. We are looking at the profound danger of synthetic folic acid, especially when it is taken in the absence of its essential biological partner, vitamin B12. For decades, we have been told that folic acid is a miracle for cellular health. It is added to our breads, our cereals, and almost every multivitamin on the shelf. But here is the biological catch. As we age, our stomachs produce less hydrochloric acid and less of a protein called intrinsic factor, which are both required to absorb vitamin B12 from our food. This leads to a widespread, often silent B12 deficiency among seniors. When you flood your system with high doses of synthetic folic acid from a supplement, it performs a dangerous trick called masking. It corrects the large cell anemia that would normally tip your doctor off to a B12 deficiency, but it does absolutely nothing to stop the underlying neurological damage. While the folic acid makes your blood work look normal, your vitamin B12 levels continue to plummet, and without B12, the protective fatty coating around your brain cells, the myelin sheath begins to literally dissolve. The clinical science on this is absolutely chilling. A landmark study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition followed a large cohort of seniors and found that those with high levels of folic acid combined with low vitamin B12 levels experienced cognitive decline at a rate 5 times faster than those with normal levels. That is a 500% acceleration of memory loss simply because a natural vitamin was out of balance. Imagine your brain as a complex electrical grid where the wires are starting to fray and spark. Taking high-dose folic acid is like disabling the smoke detector and the fire alarm so you can sleep better, while the electrical fire continues to melt the insulation behind your walls. Your actionable takeaway here is to audit your multivitamin immediately. You must ensure you are taking the methylated form of folate listed as L-methylfolate rather than folic acid. And you should never take it without a high-quality, sublingual vitamin B12 supplement, specifically in the form of methylcobalamin. By switching to the active forms, you bypass the liver's slow conversion process and ensure your myelin sheaths remain thick and protective. This brings us to a second brain booster that is likely sitting in your refrigerator or on your nightstand right now, potentially turning into a pro-inflammatory nightmare. We are talking about the hidden risk of oxidized or rancid fish oil. We have all been told that omega-3 fatty acids are the ultimate brain food, essential for keeping our cell membranes fluid and our cognitive processing sharp. But fish oil is an extremely delicate polyunsaturated fat that is highly susceptible to damage from light, heat, and oxygen. When these oils oxidize, they don't just become less effective, they transform into toxic lipid peroxides that actively trigger neuroinflammation. Instead of calming your brain, these damaged fats act like microscopic shards of glass, irritating the delicate lining of your blood-brain barrier. The data on the quality of these supplements is staggering. A study published in the Journal of Science of Food and Agriculture tested over 50 popular brands of fish oil and found that more than 50% of the supplements on the shelf exceeded the international limits for primary and secondary oxidation. In some cases, the natural oil was so damaged it was essentially a bottle of inflammatory sludge. Taking these is like trying to fix a high-precision Swiss watch by pouring rusted, gritty gear oil into the mechanism. It might be oil, but it is doing more harm than good. To protect your cognitive processing, your actionable takeaway is to perform a simple smell and bite test on your current omega-3. If the bottle has a powerful, overwhelming fishy odor, or if you bite into a capsule and it tastes bitter or foul, throw it away immediately. Only purchase fish oils that are third-party certified for purity by organizations like IFOS and stored in opaque dark bottles. Better yet, focus on getting your omega-3s from low-mercury, smash-sized fish like sardines and mackerel twice a week, where the fats are naturally stabilized by the fish's own antioxidants. If you are finding these insights helpful and you're starting to see your supplement routine in a new light, please take a moment to give this video a thumbs up. It helps us get this science-backed information out to more people who are being misled by big-budget marketing. The third supplement on our list is a botanical that has been a staple in memory enhancement marketing for 30 years, but for a senior, it might be the thing that triggers a catastrophic brain bleed. We are looking at Ginkgo Biloba. It is marketed as a natural way to increase blood flow to the brain, and while it does have some vasodilatory properties, it also contains compounds that inhibit platelet activating factor. For a healthy 30-year-old, this might not be an issue. But for someone over 60, who is often already taking low-dose aspirin, blood thinners like warfarin, or even just high-dose vitamin E, Ginkgo becomes a dangerous multi-thinner. It reduces the ability of your blood to clot effectively, which significantly increases the risk of microhemorrhages, tiny, silent bleeds in the brain that over time lead to vascular dementia. The medical literature has been waving red flags about this for years. A major clinical trial published in the Journal of the American Medical Association JAMA followed over 3,000 seniors for 6 years and found that Ginkgo Biloba did absolutely nothing to prevent the onset of Alzheimer's disease. However, the researchers noted a concerning trend. The group taking the ginkgo had a significantly higher incidence of hemorrhagic stroke and microbleeds. Imagine the blood vessels in your brain are like an old, reliable dam holding back a reservoir of water. Taking Ginkgo Biloba while on other medications is like chipping away at the concrete walls of that dam until a tiny leak turns into a structural collapse. Your actionable takeaway is to be extremely cautious with circulation-boosting herbs. If you are on any form of blood-thinning medication, or even a daily NSAID for joint pain, you should cross Ginkgo Biloba off your list. If you want to increase cerebral blood flow safely, stick to a 15-minute brisk walk or consume a small amount of high-quality organic cocoa powder, which has been shown in Nature Neuroscience to improve cognitive function through its flavonoids without the same severe bleeding risks. Now we must discuss a heavy metal that is quietly hiding in your daily multivitamin, and it is a metal that your brain is specifically designed to keep out. We are talking about excess copper. Copper is an essential trace mineral, but our modern environment is already saturated with it through copper plumbing and agricultural runoff. As we age, our levels of a protective protein called ceruloplasmin can fluctuate, and we become less efficient at excreting excess copper. When free copper not bound to a protein crosses the blood-brain barrier, it becomes a potent catalyst for oxidative stress. It interacts with oxygen to create hydroxyl radicals, the most destructive molecules in the human body. Even more concerning, excess copper has been shown to physically prevent the brain from clearing out the amyloid beta plaques that are the hallmark of Alzheimer's disease. The evidence linking copper to cognitive decline is found in the highest echelons of science. A study published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, BNAS, trace amounts of copper in drinking water, and supplements interfered with the brain's ability to flush toxic proteins, essentially acting like a biological clog in the brain's drainage system. The researchers noted that in populations with high copper intake, cognitive decline was significantly more pronounced. Imagine your brain's waste management system as a series of clear drains. Excess copper is like pouring thick, sticky sludge down those pipes until everything backs up and the system overflows. Your actionable takeaway is to check your multivitamin label right now. If it contains copper, and you are not specifically diagnosed with a copper deficiency, which is extremely rare in seniors, you should consider switching to a copper-free multi. Most people over 60 already have a high copper to zinc ratio, so focusing on a small amount of supplemental zinc, which competes with copper for absorption, is often a much smarter way to balance your brain's mineral-delicate chemistry. Finally, we arrive at the fifth natural destroyer, an herb often used for mood and sleep that can turn into a cellular thief, stealing the efficacy of your most important medications. We are talking about St. John's wort. Many seniors use it as a natural alternative to antidepressants, but St. John's wort is a potent inducer of a specific enzyme in your liver called CYP3A4. This enzyme is responsible for breaking down over 50% of all pharmaceutical drugs. When you take St. John's wort, you are essentially telling your liver to go into overdrive and chew up your medications before they ever have a chance to work. If you are on a statin for your heart, a blood thinner to prevent stroke, or even certain blood pressure meds, St. John's wort can slash the concentration of those drugs in your blood by as much as 50%. This leads to what doctors call therapeutic failure. You think you're protected from a stroke or a heart attack, but you're actually walking around with no protection at all. This isn't just theory, it is a well-documented clinical reality. A study in the journal Clinical Pharmacokinetics highlighted that St. John's wort can reduce the effectiveness of life-saving drugs to a degree that is biologically equivalent to not taking the medicine at all. Taking this herb while on essential meds is like hiring a security guard for your home, only to have him secretly invite a thief in through the back door to steal your most valuable possessions while you're sleeping. Your actionable takeaway is to never ever combine St. John's wort with any prescription medication without a deep consultation with a pharmacist. If you are looking for a mood boost that is brain safe and won't interfere with your liver enzymes, consider a high-quality saffron extract or simply increasing your exposure to early morning sunlight, which has been shown to naturally boost serotonin levels through the retina-brain axis without the metabolic thievery of St. To summarize the protective steps we've discussed. First, avoid synthetic folic acid, and always pair your folate with B12 in the methylated forms to protect your myelin. Second, perform the smell test on your fish oil to avoid neuroinflammatory rancidity. Third, cross Ginkgo Biloba off your list if you are on any blood thinners to prevent microbleeds. Fourth, switch to a copper-free multivitamin to keep your brain's drainage system clear. And fifth, be wary of St. John's wort if you rely on other life-saving medications. You have worked hard to reach this stage of your life, and you deserve a mind that is as sharp and vibrant as your spirit. You are not a passive victim of the aging narrative. You are the guardian of your own biology. By making these small, science-backed adjustments to your supplement routine, you aren't just taking pills, you are actively pruning the toxins out of your environment and giving your brain the clean, balanced environment it needs to thrive. Small changes, like switching a vitamin or throwing away a rancid bottle of oil, create a massive ripple effect in your long-term cognitive health. I want to hear from you. Did any of these 5 supplements surprise you? Are you going to go check your vitamin labels after this? Let me know in the comments below. And if you have questions about specific brands or alternatives, I'll do my best to provide the data. Please give this video a like and subscribe, because your health is worth fighting for, and you deserve the truth about what is going into your body. Remember, you have the power to protect your memory and your independence. Stay curious, stay informed, and I will see you in the next one.